hello. So, this is Harvest Moon SNES, the original one. This is gonna be best ending, and I suppose let's get started. Already asked in the chat what to name it, and we're gonna name our file demo. Timing starts when we select our save file, so we'll do that in 3, 2, 1, go. So there's a lot of downtime, and I'll explain the particular ins and outs of the run during that. But first, I'm gonna actually need you guys to tell me what to name the dog. Again, max of 4 characters. Turn up the game sound a little. I can turn it up some more if it's still quiet. So the first day is pretty much the same in any Harvest Moon SNES run. There are 6 villagers you need to talk to. You need to talk to the livestock dealer. You need to talk to Anne, to Eve, to Maria, to Nina, and the flower shop dealer. Once you talk to those 6 people, you're able to leave. We got 1 vote for naming the dog Jack. Another one for naming it also demo. Personally, I kind of like naming the dog Jack. I think that's a good meme, so we might go with that. So, I'll talk about how we match text in this game, since it's a bit different from a lot of other games. So to match text, you have to hold the A button in order to advance the text slowly, but when it reaches the end of the text box, you have to press A again to advance it. And so a lot of really running this game comes from knowing the exact length of text boxes, so you can time your inputs precisely. Now this is, since a lot of it is text matching, Japanese is faster. Now we're running on English just for the marathon. English is better for viewability. My internet should be very stable, Cruel, so there should be no issues. And that was the first day. So on the second day, we're gonna go outside. We're gonna get met by Ellen, and she's going to give us our dog, which I think we were going to name Jack because it was the first idea. And chat's already scrolled the other names off screen. Okay, there's the K. So now that we've named our dog Jack, we're going to do a few things quickly, and then we're basically going to sleep until fall. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our tool shed, we're going to grab the hammer, the hoe, and we're going to get some power berries, hopefully. So there's a power berry that we can get by just digging the ground, and if we're lucky, we'll get it quickly. This is and we're going to use a glitch. We have 25 digs to get this optimally, otherwise we'll have to go for a backup. Okay, we're gonna have to go for the backup. So, the backup would be, we're gonna go fish. Since, our goal for the first day is to eat 8 power berries. Now, if you're familiar with, vanilla, with, speedrunning this game, or just, well, not speedrunning it, then you'll know that it's impossible to eat 8 power berries on the first day of the game. So, we're gonna have to do some trickery in order to get that. So, our backup power berries, we're gonna catch a fish, and throw it into this pond, and hope for the best. And now, we do have to get it quickly, otherwise, we can't get this power berry once it turns night, because apparently, water elves and harvest goddesses also retire at 5 p.m. They're on a strict 9 to 5 schedule. And this is going pretty poorly. Okay, there's a fish. So we're not going to eat it, and instead we're going to throw it into this pond. And that'll summon the spirit here, and we'll be able to get this power berry. So what we're going to do to activate this glitch is we're going to repeatedly use our tools until we get an animation that indicates that we're low on stamina. Like that one there. Then we pick up the power berry during the animation, and it puts us in a glitched state. So now we need to reload the screen. Now we've gotten a visible power berry. We're going to place it down. We've got a clone. We're just going to kind of leave him there. And now every item that we eat while in this glitched state will count as a power berry. So there are 4 wild grapes on the mountain, so by eating all 4 of them, that'll actually count as 4 power berries eaten. And we're going to do this twice for 8 power berries. Now this is probably the biggest glitch in this game. This game is surprisingly glitchless. And it's one of the downsides of this game, actually. Now if you saw the glitch exhibition last year that I showed off, I'll talk more about that later, during some of the downtime. But first, we're gonna go get our second power berry. Now this is something that I actually discovered not that long ago. A new glitch. It's very minor, and optimally, it doesn't save any time at all. But what I'm doing is, as you saw there, you can keep... So normally, you're supposed to just hammer that power berry, or hammer that chicken statue, and then a power berry has a random chance of dropping out of it. Now, normally you're supposed to reload the screen. However, I discovered that when you can just keep hammering the chicken statue even after it's destroyed, and you can still get the power berry from it. Yeah, shoutouts to the Uber Noober for discovering the power berry glitch. So yeah, optimally, that chicken statue glitch, doesn't save any time because optimally you get it first try anyway, but it saves time if you get it unoptimally, if that makes sense. It means you lose less time. So you may be wondering, why don't we just do this glitch over and over and over again in order to get a lot of power berries really quickly? And the answer is because there is actually a limit. Actually, I'll more on that later. 8, 9, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I skipped 80, so that's actually 90. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 100, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's good enough. So, we have to pick up our dog 100 times. That's just one of the requirements for best ending. Don't ask me why. It just is. So we're gonna do that. So we just did that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna sleep until, fall. So this will be about 8 minutes. And, we're gonna talk about the run during that. And actually, I'm gonna quickly turn up the game on my end, because, yeah, it is pretty quiet. Now, it might be a bit too loud. I can adjust it on your guys' end. So what I was saying about the power berries earlier is, you need to eat 10 power berries in order to get best ending. That's the goal of this category. However, if you eat more than 10 power berries, then you cannot get best ending. The run actually dies. And I actually lost track of what day we were on because I was talking and adjusting the volume. So we are on the 10th. It's important to keep track of what day it is. This will be the 11th. I've got a counter that I can increment. So what exactly is best ending? So at the end of the game, there are several endings you can get based on how well you do in the game. Best ending is, of course, the best one, and it's obtained by having, at the end of the game, eaten 10 power berries, picked up your dog 100 times, having upgraded your house twice, having been married with 2 kids, and you also need to own a cow and a chicken. And those are the requirements for best ending, and it sounds like a lot, but really it mostly just boils down to having a lot of money. So what we're going to be doing, the entire run is basically centered around getting as much money as fast as possible. We need 33,500 for this run. About, roughly. So some of the major differences between this route and the previous route, since I ran this last year also, at the 3rd Harvest Moon Marathon, and recently I actually broke sub 2, getting the world record back. And to do that, I optimized the run a lot more, and mainly just found out that the biggest time save was actually not getting the golden egg. Now, the golden egg is a thing that you can sell for 10,000. However, as it turns out, it costs so much time to get the golden egg that it's actually slower. And instead, we just harvest more corn and optimize and time save elsewhere. So you'll notice we're getting a lot of rain. Rain is actually pretty bad, because as you could hear there, some wild dogs barked. And the correlation is that... Let me just check what day it is. It is the 25th, okay. This game is really highlights how bad I am at counting. So basically when it rains, there's a lot of logs, like fencing, on our farm, and every time it rains, that fencing can rot. And if there's rotten logs on the farm, then wild dogs can come at night and bark. And when wild dogs bark, it costs some time. It takes about 3 seconds extra to progress the day. So we can get rid of rotten logs by hammering them, however this also takes time. It should be the 30th of spring, so we're actually gonna go out and hammer all these logs. Like so. Now, I think it was 5 days of rain, but actually we didn't get many logs rotted at all. Sometimes the RNG is really finicky. That's why I named the save file RNG Hype, because this game is very RNG based. Yeah, we only had 4 rotten logs, so didn't actually need to go out and hammer them, but it's kind of impossible to know. And is that rain on the 1st of summer? That's unusual. So we're gonna sleep through all of summer also. Now, weather is actually dependent based on the season. So, it's a lot more likely to rain in the summer, or rather in the spring, than in the summer. Summer, you can have a small chance of getting a hurricane. However, that is pretty unlikely. I'm actually going to need to turn the volume up again on my end. My apologies. And now I can hear the game better. So, basically the entire run comes down to, in the 2nd year, in the season of summer, if we get a single hurricane, the run dies. So, hopefully we can have some good RNG. Now, if we do get a hurricane, I've prepared backup saves, so we'll still continue the run. It just won't be legitimate. Hopefully we don't have to do that. It's not that likely to actually get a typhoon, but it's definitely not impossible. Weather is determined 2 days in advance, and it's determined when you sleep, on the exact frame. This game runs at 60 frames per second, and RNG changes every single frame, and this includes weather RNG. Hurricanes kill the run because we're going to be planting corn, and hurricanes actually destroy crops, and money is very tight in this game, so if we lose a lot of our crop... So if you hear closely, actually, that was a hurricane right there. So we need to make sure that none of our plants break. Now this is actually one of the, or if not the most rainy summer I've ever seen. That was like 6 days of rain and a hurricane, which is insanely unlikely. It's more rain. Now, I'd like to go out and hammer the stumps, but I can't actually do that until it's the 20th, because on the first summer, there's a cutscene that plays if you leave your house before the 20th. So, we're not going to do that. Now, you'll notice there that that night was longer than most. That was because that night actually had an earthquake. On the first, in the first summer, another hurricane. In the first summer and in the first winter, like the summer and winter of the first year, there's 2 earthquakes, and these open up. They break large stones and other such, and open up new areas in the map. We'll be, in particular, be caring about the second earthquake, the one that comes in the winter, because that will allow us to get the golden axe. But more on that later. So let me just check what day it is again. Okay, 25th. I was 4 days off. Now it should be the 26th. And once fall happens, we're going to be doing a bit more than just sleeping. And I'll be talking a bit more about the main differences between this route, and the last route. So in the previous route, early game focused on getting a cow, which costs 5,000, and then you wait for the cow to grow up, and then you sell the cow, and you're able to get a golden egg for it, and that golden egg costs, or rather sells for, 10,000 G. Now this is the 1st of summer, right? Yep, 1st of fall. On the 3rd of fall, we're gonna go and sell some poison mushrooms, and hope it doesn't rain. Okay, so it's good. So, we're gonna go out, we're gonna sell 3 poison mushrooms to the peddler. The peddler is a guy that shows up in town on Sundays, if it's not raining. Fortunately, we don't have rain, so normally a poison mushroom sells for 200, you can sell it to the peddler for 300. And we can just barely sneak in 3 poison mushrooms to him for 900 G. In total, we need 4,400 gold by the end of summer, or sorry, by the end of the fall. And we've got 6 days in order to get that money, optimally, but we only need 5 of them. So we do have a spare in case it rains on one of the days, thankfully. Now, in the previous route that I ran last year, we actually needed 5,400, so the money was a lot tighter, and this was because we needed enough money to buy an extra seed of grass, and we also needed to buy the cow, of course. And also, in order to buy the grass seed later on, we also needed to fish for a fish in spring, which also cost time. So those are some major time saves in this on this route. Now, there are time losses, since the main way we make up the missing 10,000 G, technically 5,000 G, is by harvesting more corn, and harvesting more corn takes more time. However, we still save time, because we also save more time later on, because it takes longer, but that means we sleep with our wife more, which means we get more affection with our wife. And getting more affection with our wife when we go to bed with her means we have to talk to her and befriend her less before we get married, so we save some more time there at the cost of other time elsewhere. So routing this was a lot of give and take. You save time here, you lose time there, but it all balanced out to be quite a bit faster, actually. So because we had such a a wet summer, we're gonna go pound all these rotten stumps in. And then we're gonna sleep until the 10th. So fall is a special season because on the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th of fall... Okay, that stump is in a bad position. On the 10th, 11th, and 12th of fall, a special berry called the full moon berry blooms at the top of the mountain. And it sells for 800. It's extremely valuable to get. Very profitable. However, you cannot go to the mountain. Actually, it only sells for 600, my bad. But it's still profitable. Because it's very fast. Now, on a rainy day, you can't actually go to the top of the mountain because it's too dangerous. You might slip off. So, it would be very bad if it rained on the 10th or 11th. Now, it can't rain on the 12th because the 12th is actually a festival. It's the Harvest Festival. And all festivals are guaranteed to be sunny. And we're gonna hopefully take advantage of that for a little bit of time save in the winter. But for now, we're just gonna sleep until the 10th and get some more money. So in order to get 4,400, we need 1 day of 900 and 4 days of 800. Today is the 9th, and next day will be the 10th. And fortunately, it is sunny. It's also a Sunday today, however, we don't actually need to sell anything more to the peddler. If we well, we need to sell a few more mushrooms to the peddler, however, it's faster to sell the last thing you have in the day to the shipper, just to save screen transitions. So we're going to be selling this full moonberry and a poison mushroom. I suppose it wouldn't lose really that much time to sell the poison mushroom to the peddler first, and then sell the full moonberry to the shipping bin. However, we don't really need it. I just thought of that time save, actually. So there are 5 bachelorettes that you can marry, and a lot of this route, I've experimented with pretty much trying to marry all of them, and determined that, and just blatantly is the fastest for reasons we'll see in about an hour. A bit less than an hour. What do I get for eating the full moonberry? You get some stamina, and that's about it. I don't actually know off the top of my head how much stamina, because there's no reason to eat the full moonberry, but it doesn't give you any bonuses or buffs, if that's what you're asking. So now, the apprentice shipper is going to tell us, hey, the Harvest Festival is tomorrow. And we say we don't care. Now, normally you can get a power berry from the Harvest Festival, but that's slow, so we're not going to do that. We do need 2 more power berries, however, fortunately for us, there are 2... Dude! I have never seen him get in the way like that before. But yeah, fortunately there are 2 very easy and very in our way power berries that we'll just pick up, and they are literally right in our path, right in our way. It would cost time, basically would cost time to not pick them up. So one of the major downsides of this run, and just this game in general, is that the runs are kind of to the point where all that's left is just optimization. Since I tried a lot of routes for this, especially the best ending, and nothing comes close to the speed in which farming corn is. I tried a lot of wacky strategies, including other wild harvest, planting other crops. Even I had a strat where I got a cow, and I would just leave my house every day. I brought the cow to in front of your house, and you would just talk to the cow, brush the cow in order to get its affection up to sell it, since you can sell a cow for 10,000 if it loves you enough. However, nothing was fast enough. So, as far as I'm concerned, unless we find another huge major glitch, this is the fastest route, and only minor optimizations will really change anything. So today's the Harvest Festival. We're going to completely ignore it, and just sell one more full moon berry. The main reason we need 4,400 is we're gonna buy 8 corn seeds. Each corn seed costs 3,000, so that's 2,400, and then the missing 2,000 will be used to buy the sprinkler, which costs 2,000. The sprinkler is actually what the guy was working on in the first year of summer, or first summer of the first year. It's confusing to talk about dates sometimes. So because the sprinkler isn't available until the first summer, the 20th, that's why we can't do any crops in the first year, because watering crops by hand is extremely slow. The sprinkler waters a 3x3 area and never has to be refilled with water, whereas the watering can waters a single tile and has a limit on how much water it can hold at once. So, very slow. So this will be our, not actually our last poison mushroom, but we just need to sell 3 more poison mushrooms, preferably on the 17th. However, if it rains that day, we can try on the 24th. I prepared a list of topics to talk about, but I'm rapidly running out of things to talk about. This run has a lot of downtime, a lot of sleeping, especially near the end. So today, in theory, is the 17th. And it's raining. Yeah, the 17th. That's unfortunate, but we'll just sleep until the 24th. That's our backup day. 24th is also Sunday, so we'll be able to get our missing 800G. Now, something I will talk about, a very, very minor thing that actually makes a pretty significant difference, is you saw early at the start of the run when I was hoeing the ground for a power berry, I got a single gold coin to pop out. When you hoe the ground on your farm, you can get either a gold coin or money bag, the gold coin being worth 10 gold, the money bag being worth 50. And you can only get one of those money items per day, and we actually need the money bag. The $50, the 50G from that money bag actually makes a big difference, because it means we can miss one extra corn, 9 corn as opposed to 8 later on. And I'll talk more about why we'd potentially miss corn later on. But first, it's the 24th, it's a Sunday, so let's go sell some poison mushrooms. So I'm being asked, why do I run Harvest Moon? Well, I've always been a fan of the Harvest Moon series of games. It's just something I grew up with. Never had Harvest Moon SNES when I was young, but it had 64, and I loved it. And like any young child, I was terrible at it, and didn't know a thing about how to play optimally. But I've had a lot of Harvest Moon games along the years, and I just really like the farming aspect of it. The whole sandbox, you can control your life. And it just seemed natural to speedrun it, just because I like to speedrun a lot of games I play. And this being no exception. I chose SNES just because, frankly, it emulates accurately, and I just happen to know a lot about it from when I got it on Wii Virtual Console. And that's basically it. Eventually I want to branch out, learn maybe the Game Boy Harvest Moons and the such, but for now, we've got SNES. What I really want to do for SNES is, I want to get a max ranch mastery run going. That would be the 100% category of this game. It'd be very long. My estimate would be like 6, 7, 8 hours maybe. But that aside, we are almost through summer, or fall rather, and it's almost winter. Another day of rain. So, our main goal for winter is, we want the winter earthquake as early as possible. The winter earthquake, can appear as late as the second last day. And we want it as early as possible because we want to be able to go get all of our logs. That's what we're going to do this season. We're going to get all of our wood to upgrade our house. Oh, here's the earthquake. So now that we've got the earthquake on the 10th is guaranteed to be sunny because it is Thanksgiving Festival. And since we can't actually get the golden axe when it's snowing, however, unlike rain, snow does not have an audio cue. It still snows, but the background music still plays. So until you leave your house, you don't know if it's snowy or sunny. And we need it to be sunny. So if we do it on the 10th, we know it's guaranteed to be sunny. We don't lose time by exiting our house and then having to re-enter if it's snow. It's a very minor time save, but that's what this route's about, optimization. Now, it snows a ton in winter. Most days, like, it's 50-50 basically if it snows or not. And snow, just like rain, rots logs. So we're gonna be hearing those dogs quite a bit. Now, unless I miscounted, today should be Thanksgiving. Yeah, it can sometimes be difficult to tell if it's the earthquake or not, but the best way I find to tell is the transition taking a long time, because the earthquake takes a lot of time. So we've got a lot of logs. We're gonna get rid of them. Now, the more logs we pound early on, the less we have to pound later on, so it kind of evens out, but it really doesn't. So we're gonna equip our axe over our hoe, go to the mountain, and chop the same 10 logs for about 11 minutes. So this is a huge, major, boring downtime of the run. Also, oh, I forgot the horse. I completely forgot about the horse. Anyone have a name? I'll take the first thing that comes. My estimate's long. I think I can afford this. You know what? Demo is probably gonna win anyway, so I'll preemptively name it Demo. While I stall for the chat to catch up. Okay, we're naming it John. Okay, we now have a horse named John. He'll be useful later on. So, to get the golden axe, you go to this harvest spring in a sunny day, you use your axe, she'll say, "Hey, did you drop this golden axe?" And you say no. And she's like, "Oh, you're honest, so you can have this." The golden axe lets us chop these stumps in a single swing, as opposed to 6 swings. Very important. And here's one of those power berries that we're gonna get. It's literally right in our way. And we're gonna jump down that hole, and we're gonna do this cycle 12 times, so count with me, chat. This is going to be very lengthy. Oh, that was fast. So this is the other power berry that we're gonna get, so that's 10 power berries. So when you chop logs on the mountain, you've got a random chance of finding a power berry. You can only get one. It's just random. And that was it. A fox and a monkey. That is very, very rare. So wild animals can spawn in the mountains sometimes, and they will give a small boost to your happiness. And it's basically an inconsequential boost, and we don't care about it at all. But it's a nice trivia fact. So this is 2 times we're jumping down this hole. I think seeing the monkey and seeing the fox boosted my score by 20, but we've got a very quick way to boost our happiness, so it really doesn't matter much. So you'll notice while I'm chopping these logs, I'm entering the spa. The spa regenerates your health. Your health? I can't talk. It regenerates your stamina by 24 every time you enter it. And every time you use the golden axe, it costs 8 stamina. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we never, since we're going to be chopping a lot of logs, we have to regenerate our stamina, so it's just fastest to make sure that we never get the animation that plays when we have 50% of our stamina left. So that means we have 100 stamina to work with, and so if you math it all out, it works out that if you just alternate jumping in the spa 3 times, and then 4 times, and then 3 times, and then 4 times, it works out. So this is cycle number 3. So, extremely minor time save. I actually timed it out, since we need to reload this area in order to respawn the logs. And of course, the fastest way to do that is the mountain cave. Now, I timed it out, and it is 1 second faster to jump down the hole and go through the cave, as opposed to go around the mountain and then just go in and out of that entrance there. Saves 1 second. So, yeah. That's some trivia for you. So, if everyone hasn't left to go grab a coffee while we're doing this, I can talk about Max Toolshed, which is a run I almost submitted. However, I looked at what the route would be, and Max Toolshed is actually very similar to Best Ending. So what Max Toolshed would be is basically getting every single item that can be in your toolshed at the same time. It's not an official category. It's something that I thought of. Nobody's done a run of it, to my knowledge. And the route would be very similar to Best Ending, requiring pretty much almost the exact same amount of money, too. You need a little bit more. Since you got your 4 tools, you would have to upgrade them to gold, which it doesn't take much, since for the most part you run into the golden tool upgrading events on your way, since it really wouldn't take long. You would still need to upgrade your house twice in order to buy paint, to paint your house. You would need to befriend a girl in order to buy the blue feather. However, you wouldn't actually need to propose to her, since you want to keep the blue feather. The other big things you would get would be, you would get the milker, you would get the brush, you would get the animal medicine, and you would get the miracle potion. And you would get the magic beans and the seed of snowflower, and that's basically it. So you do a few more things that you do in Best Ending, but it would be still very similar. It would be about 90% similar, since you would still be just hoping for good RNG, farming corn. You would still have to do the same grind of logs to get wood to upgrade your house twice. That I figured it's really not probably a good category to run. And that's part of the reason why this game, honestly, I fear it might be getting close to a dead game. Because, I mean, we have any percent, which is just do the first day, and then there's a specific button combination you can do this to skip to the credits. Like, to skip to the end of the game. So any percent is just do the first day and skip to the end of the game. And that is basically down to, like, frames that can be saved, pretty much. So that's basically as optimized as it'll get. And, marriage is also pretty optimized. So this would be 8. Thanks for counting along, chat. Actually did lose track just there and had to look at the chat. So yeah, marriage, I have, the world record is a 37, and it has really good RNG. Now, the task of marriage, marriage percent, I think is like a 20 or something, like a 26 or 25. Very, very fast. However, that's task, and that's perfect RNG, and that's not really reasonable to do. So all marriage comes down to anymore is just getting good RNG. And then we've got this, which, as I've already stated, I checked a lot of potential money routes, and this is definitely, without a doubt, the fastest. So this is also getting close to just getting good RNG and making sure you optimize and count perfectly. And then we've got all days, which is a meme category which doesn't really count. And those are mainly our 4 categories on speedrun.com, so I really hope that we can find a new glitch. Now, last year at the glitch exhibition, I showed permanent map corruption. Now, I'm gonna admit, I haven't really experimented much with it, but I did try and replicate it, and I was unsuccessful. And I think it's something to do with, I just tried getting a chicken early on and just using it with the dog. I think you actually need the horse in order to corrupt enough data. You need enough sprites on screen. It's a bit finicky, but it's unreliable, and I actually tried even just buffering it, even if we could find a reliable way to make Jack go invisible. The main issue is that will never, ever be RTA viable. Never. And the reason is, when you sell a chicken to the animal dealer or the hawker, they take a random amount of time to show up on your farm when you place the chicken down. And the big issue with that is, no matter what you do, you have no way of knowing when exactly, what frame the livestock dealer is going to arrive on your farm. And so I found a setup with jumping over fences that you can buffer specific frames. However, since you don't know which frame he's going to show up on, you can't actually buffer it properly. Since, again, this game runs at 60 frames per second, it is extremely hard to buffer perfectly. Almost impossible. So that is not RTA viable. I only managed to get it successfully once, and that was by pure luck. I just happened to hit A on 1/60th of a second. Perfectly. Now, Uber's mentioned some other categories that could be interesting, such as max endings, single, and married. I did think of that. Since there are certain endings that you can... best ending is basically the max ending, with the exception of a few livestock-related ones and crop ones, so actually not really max endings at all. So I think an interesting category could be just Ladies' Man, where you befriend all the bachelorettes and marry none of them. So that is an option, but with our current 4 categories, they are at the point of pretty much near perfect optimization, like in terms of route, which is a bit of a shame. So I think the next big pinnacle for this game is definitely just, it's gonna be 999 Ranch Master score, the 100%, because it's very elaborate and complicated, and nobody's actually done a run of it. So at some point, hopefully we'll get that routed out, and we'll be able to show that at a future marathon. But for now, that is a lot of logs chopped. 122. And we'll just chop the last 3 on our farm later on. So now we're just going to sleep until the end of winter. So on the 24th is the Starry Night Festival. And we're actually going to be visiting Anne on that, and that'll get us some good affection points with her. Now, the reason we marry Anne is mainly because she's the fastest to befriend in a best ending situation, or really just a situation where you have as long as you want. It might actually be faster to marry Anne in marriage %. I'll need to do some testing later, but basically, how we're going to befriend Anne is we're going to be talking to her, and she'll ask us a question, and if we respond favorably to the question, she'll gain 8 affection points. And every time we do that, we can do that over and over and over again by just reloading the house. Now, the reason Anne is faster is because Anne asks that question inside of the tool shed, or the tool shop. So we can just enter and exit the tool shop immediately, and she doesn't move around, she stays in a single spot, and it's just extremely quick to reload the area. And also, because she's not outside, we can actually talk to her in a single day, whereas otherwise, if we talk to someone, say Ellen, who we marry in marriage %, we would require 2 days, potentially, if she moves around too much, just because time will progress when we're outside of the animal shop, where we'd talk to Ellen. So this should be the 24th. We're gonna go to the spa. That's where Anne stays. It's the Starry Night Festival. Spa. Also, Anne has a very fast Starry Night. 3 girls have very fast Starry Nights. Anne is one of them. I believe Nina. I also considered marrying Nina, because you can marry Nina on Sunday, whereas everyone else you propose to them and marry them on a Saturday. And you can only buy Blue Feather on a Sunday, however, it really wasn't faster. But Nina's Starry Night event is also just as fast as Anne's. Now, Maria's and I think Ellen's Starry Night festivals are the slowest. Very, very slow. You do not want to talk to them. Go to their place. They would be the church and the town center, because you have to talk to everyone before, and there are a lot of villagers you have to talk to. And another reason why Anne is quick is because she has a really fast heart event. So, like other Harvest Moon games. Also, this should be the end of winter. Now we're in the 1st of spring. And this is New Year's Festival. I'll continue more on my topic after the New Year's Festival. We have to talk to everyone here. We're gonna say no to her, so we don't get our fortune told. Now, we could gain happiness by getting our fortune told, however, we could also lose it, and we don't really need extra happiness at the cost of losing a bunch for RNG. So we talk to everyone, and we have to talk to her last, the mayor's wife. We don't actually technically have to talk to her last, however, we have to talk to everyone, and in order to end the event, you have to talk to her after talking to everyone. And so by talking to her last, we don't have to talk to her twice. Now, our goal for spring is we're going to, Also, this guy's gonna tell us that our horse screw up and he put saddlebags on our horse, and now our horse is a mobile shipping bin. That is the wrong tool. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to prepare our fields in order to plant the 8 bags of corn later on in the summer. There are a few... I messed that up. 5, 6. There are a few stumps in the way and logs that we're going to have to get rid of, and rocks. And here we'll also chop our last 2 logs that we need. We'll cut this one. Now we no longer need our axe, so we're going to grab our hoe. That is not our hoe. We're going to be tilling our fields. Now we're going to be tilling our fields in a specific way so that we can use our horse when we start in from here. Now, unfortunately, we had a lot of hurricanes, so we have a lot of extra weeds. Hurricanes can, since the position of rocks, stumps, weeds, and such are, okay, we got our money bag. That's good. Since the position of rocks, stumps, weeds, and such are the same every time you, play the game, and the only way new ones can be added is by, I screwed up. That's actually bad. I started making my fields, 1 tile too high. That's unfortunate, but oh well. Hopefully we don't go over estimate. If we get a hurricane, we definitely won't. But anyway, we're gonna need 2 days to do this anyway, just because we won't have enough stamina to continue the other line. And unfortunately, it's raining. So we're gonna do the rest of that at the end of the season, so we can also hammer some stumps then too, some rotten logs. And then after that, we'll be at almost at the RNG hype part. Actually, but first we're going to need to befriend Anne. So it takes about 4 minutes to sleep through a season. About, not barring a large amount of dogs. And if you've upgraded your house, your bed gets further away, so it takes a little bit longer. So I guess I can talk about the power berries that we skip. So there are 10 power berries in this game, as I've previously mentioned. You can get 2 by digging in your farm, and optimally it's better to get 1 of them, and we might actually see 1 of them while we're digging the second line of fields, and it's actually important that we don't eat it, because then we would have too many power berries. The game checks for exactly 10, not 11, and not below that. So there's 2 from that, there's 1 from the chicken statue, there's 1 from fishing, those are pretty fast, and so we clone them. Then there's the 1 from jumping down the hole in the mountain, and the 1 from the actual mountain, and those are also fast, and we got those. And the major ones we skip, there's 1 from planting the seed of snowflower, which is something you need to buy at the flower festival in spring, and then plant it on the top of the mountain in winter, and it costs 2,000, I believe. So it's time-consuming because you have to go through a long festival, and it's also very expensive, so that one's very bad to get. And then there's 1 from the Harvest Festival, which is, it's just a long cutscene, basically. You have to bring, and you also lose money since you would have to bring the full moonberry, and we kind of want the money from the full moonberry. And there's 1 from the Egg Festival, which not only is that slow, but that's actually RNG, since there's 2 rewards, 2 prizes from the Egg Festival, and which one you get is just completely random. So you can either get the turtle shell statue, or you can get the power berry. If whichever one you don't get in year 1, you'll get in year 2. So it's just completely random. So that one's also not good. And is that 10 or am I missing one? Oh right, there's one you get from selling a chicken to the hawker, which is time consuming because you need a chicken. Also, what day is it? It is the 28th. And also, you just lose money because you're selling a chicken, which means you have to buy the chicken. So today is the 30th. We're gonna go finish our fields. And that's why a category like all power berries would be a terrible idea for this game. Because all power berries would consist entirely of just getting good RNG. There's basically nothing to route. You just need good RNG with fishing to get money. Good RNG with I almost actually picked that up, and that would have been terrible. Good RNG with digging them up. Good RNG with the Egg Festival. It would just be a run killer, 50-50. And so that's why we don't have a category like that for this game. So now with all of our fields dealt with, we have very few logs actually left that can rot, which is kind of crazy. I mean, fair enough, Uber. And so now it'll be the 1st of summer. And the mayor's gonna tell us that our father's going to be at the end of the next year, summer. So that's the canonical end of the game. So first, we're gonna go shopping. We're gonna buy 8 corn, we're gonna buy the sprinkler, and we're gonna talk to Anne and answer the same question 42 times. Because for some reason, she's going to ask it 42 times. So, if we talk to her more, that's fine. If we talk to her less, that's very bad. So, 42 is the minimum. Now, in previous routes, I believe I talked to her 50 times, but I routed out the affection in such a way that 42 suffices, and that saves, like, probably close to, like, a minute. Also, I'm not used to the length of these text boxes because they are longer on English than on Japanese. It's part of knowing the length of text boxes being so important in this game. This will be our 8th corn seed. And here's the tool shop. I'm gonna talk to Anne, and we don't want her to say that. We want her to say that, and we'll say hum, and that'll increase her affection by 8. And now we have the sprinkler, so now we need to talk to her a total of 42 times, so 2. This is the biggest reason Japanese saves time, because it's less text you have to mash through. So, this is a pretty boring part of the run. If you want to go grab a drink, grab a biscuit, grab something to eat, go right ahead. And then after this is the RNG hype part, where the run will either live or die. This game is very, very unforgiving, especially this category, just because you have to go through a full hour of pretty boring and tedious things, only for the run to die to factors completely beyond your control. It's pretty unfortunate, but it is, that's the nature of speedrunning, this game. So I guess I'll talk about the main differences between, this route and last route. I've already mentioned, so last route basically involved you, at the start, in the first year, you buy a fish, or you catch a fish in order to be able to buy an extra grass seed, so you can then buy a cow in fall, and that requires extra money in both spring and fall, and that's pretty lengthy to get. Then you, the whole process of actually selling the golden cow is about 4 minutes, but you do get 10,000 for it, but it costs 5,000, so you only profit by 5,000. And then you have to, now in this, we save time by not doing any of that, however we lose time by, we actually, we get married much later, so we actually have to sleep for an extra season, and that's about 5 minutes of extra sleeping. Since we go pretty much actually to the very last season, we only skip... This is actually almost now an all-days run. We end the game around, like, the 10th, 15th, somewhere around there, of summer, of year 3. Very close to all days. And so that loses time, and also we lose time because we have to harvest more corn, which means we have to water it for longer, and that just takes more time. Thanks for the good luck. However, when everything is all said and done, it is actually faster. This would basically be Ladies' Man, in a nutshell. Befriending all of the bachelorettes would be basically just getting good RNG with asking good questions. It's a 50-50 which statement they say. They can either ask the question or say something unrelated. Now, you wouldn't actually have to befriend them as much, since we've already pretty much... We're at the point where we'd be able to marry Anne. However, we need to talk to her more, just for future affection. Since how it works is you need 250 affection to marry someone, you need 450 in order for them to have the first kid, and you need 650 for them to have the second child. And so getting up to 650 is the important thing. Except it's not actually, because you have a lot of time between when you can have kids, since you have to be married to your wife for 20 days to have the first kid, rather for your wife to become pregnant. Then 30 days after that, you'll have the kid, and then 60 days after that is when your wife can become pregnant again. Actually, it's 60 days for her to have a kid, and 30 days before she can become pregnant again. But the point is, it's 110 days before you can have 2 kids. You have to be married. And that's, when you go to bed with your wife, you gain 2 affection. So, do the math, that's an extra 220 affection points that is literally free. So, we don't actually have to worry about getting 650 affection points, we just have to worry about getting enough to get 450. So every time we talk to her, we get 8 affection points. And when we visit her location, the spa, for the Starry Night Festival, that's an extra 30. And when you reach 200 affection points, you get a heart event with the girl you're trying to marry. And completing that heart event gives you a bonus 50 affection points. So if you math it out, it's enough with the 20 days of sleeping with your wife. So that's 35. I'm actually gonna talk to her 43 times just for safety. Like any good Harvest Moon game, running this game involves a lot of grinding the same actions over and over again. That's 40. That's 41. And we'll do it one more time for safety. Just in case I miscount. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go plant all of that corn. And water it. And now is the time for you to get your bless RNGs in chat, because if a single hurricane happens, we have to load the backup. What I'll do is I'll play through it normally, as if no hurricane happened, and then at the end of summer, I'll load the backup. Because otherwise, we just skip straight to the end of the summer and be way ahead of schedule. Grab this. Then we're gonna grab this. So we planted 8 corn. Each corn sells for 120. And so, if you math it out, each harvest we should get 5,760 gold. And, however, we might not actually get that much gold. And that's due to a bug that nobody really knows how it works. More on that later. And by later, I mean in about 30 seconds. It's now the 2nd of summer. So as I said, oh yeah, well this is the Anne cutscene. Anne's weather vane blew away in the wind last night. Apparently there was a storm. And so, she wants us to go find it for us. And, it's just kind of in the chicken coop. Now, I actually did this inoptimally. I wanted to go from the left side, so I'm on the right side of the farm to enter the chicken coop, so I'll just do that event tomorrow. It's no big deal. So the main issue is that your horse is a mobile shipping bin. You can throw crops into your horse once it's grown up, and it'll harvest them. However, sometimes, and we don't know why, it's uncommon, but sometimes crops that you ship via your horse don't count. There are a lot of theories, a lot of misinformation online, and it's really not entirely clear. From what I can gather, it just happens if the horse like moves away while you're trying to put it in, or if like you throw them at your horse too fast, but it's really unclear. So anyway, we just talked to the weather vane. This cutscene happens, and kisses us, and the day ends. So, the route is tight so that if we lose more than 9 corn from just them not shipping due to the bug, then we'll have to get additional money in the fall. We'll have to get backup money. Now, that would actually be 8, but when we were digging up, planting our fields, we actually dug up 50 gold money bag, and that 50 gold actually makes a difference. It means we can miss 9 corn as opposed to 8. So, it adds a bit more safety to the run. Hopefully we won't have to get extra money, but if it does, oh well. There really isn't much we can do about it. So the 13th is the first day that we'll harvest our corn. Now what we actually want, ironically enough, we wanted no rain on every other day so far. We want as much rain as we can get in summer. Specifically the summer, because every day of rain that we get, we don't actually have to water our crops. Now, there's actually a thing where when you harvest a crop, it sets its state to unwatered. So if it rains on a day we have to harvest, we still have to water because Harvest Moon logic. That's also an issue with the Harvest Moon 64. But other than that, on any other day, especially early on in the first half of the season, we want rain because it saves time. Now you might wonder, oh, well, if money is your big issue, why don't you just plant more corn? The main issue with planting more corn is it would take a while to, well, first we have to plant more corn, which means we need more initial money, we need more seed money, we also need more space, and we're actually kind of running out of space in this row, so we'd need to, like, go vertically or go further down or plant more rows, which would take more time. And also, if you math it out, it really doesn't actually save that much time. You'd need to plant several more bags of corn in order to have to harvest a few less times, because math is complicated. So, 8 corn is pretty much optimal. And the biggest factor is that we can only harvest a maximum of 6 times in a season. There's not enough time in the season to harvest any more than that. Ideally, we'd plant 7 corn, maybe, and harvest 7 times. But, I mean, I'm not even sure if that would be faster. That would get us the most money, but it's so little money that it doesn't really mean much. Okay, what day is it? Okay, it's the 9th. I'm not off track. Now, that's rain, so we don't actually have to go water then. Now it's the 10th. Kind of tricky. The more your crops grow up, the harder it is to tell if they're water, just because more of the sprite is green. There's less dirt, so you have to look closely. Fortunately, since a lot of the rubble and debris is static, especially with those rock formations on the left half of those crops, you can just use those and know, based on those, where to stand to water properly. Another day of rain. Today's the 11th. That's good. RNG. Today's the 12th. And I'm actually just gonna do something real quick. Okay, I'm glad I did that. We are somehow 1 log short. I don't know how, but we are, oh yeah, I do know how. Okay, yeah. So, I'm gonna need to chop 1 more log. I'll do that, I'll do that later. So today's the 13th. Today is our first harvest. So this is how we're going to harvest, all of our corn. Ooh, birds are actually pretty bad. Birds give you extra happiness, but they cause a lot of lag and waste a lot of time, and today's actually pretty... well, not super tight, but it's tight enough. Anyway, we're just gonna stunlock our horse, essentially, with corn. That sounds like a weird statement, and that's because it is a weird statement, but don't question it. I'm gonna pause a little bit until the saddlebags go all the way down, and hopefully it makes us lose less corn. I won't really be paying that much attention to how much corn we have after each harvest. I'll just be looking at how much corn we have at the end of the season. Since we need 27,500. at the end of the summer. If you have less than that, then we've got a problem. If you have more than that, well then, it really doesn't help at all either. If you knew perfectly that that every corn you ship to the horse would count, then you would be able to save time by not shipping extra. I'm dipping into the next. But we just ship the extra corn just for safety, because again, we don't know if the corn is actually going to count. So now what we're going to do is we're going to order our house upgrade. It costs 5,000 gold and 250 wood in order to upgrade your house the first time. Now, we currently do not have 5,000 gold, but fortunately, they only care if we have the money tomorrow. They don't care if we have it today. Because I don't know why that is. It's just the way it is. So tomorrow we'll go outside, we'll say, yes, upgrade our house, and he'll do that. So we have to go outside even if it rains tomorrow. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, I haven't forgotten that I need more wood. I'm gonna get the equip the axe when I equip the blue feather, just to save toolship trips. 5,800. So yeah, we actually did not lose any corn that harvest. That is exactly how much money we should have. So we've had one harvest that was lossless. That is really, really good, actually. In my PB, actually, I did have to get some backup money. Now, because we're on English, this is not PB pace, but I might gold the split, maybe. So the next big event is on the 18th, assuming it doesn't rain. We'll buy the blue feather, since the 18th is a Sunday, and we have enough affection with Anne. Now, you cannot buy the blue feather on a rain day, and if we get too much rain, then that's very bad. So hopefully we don't. Since we need both the 18th when we buy the blue feather and the 24th when we propose to Anne to be sunny. Today's the 16th. It's another day of harvesting corn. Oh, my horse is not in a favorable position. Horse is trying to run away! So the requirements to get married involve, as already mentioned, you need 250 affection minimum. You also need to have upgrade your house at least once, and so that's why we're doing it now. In order to have the first kid, you have to upgrade your house a second time. And so we're going to be getting that second house upgrade before the 20 days are up. The 20 days being before your wife can be pregnant anyway. Where did that weed come from? I've never seen a weed grow there before. I didn't actually realize that. I mean, I guess I sort of did, that weeds could grow just randomly anyway. But, 17th. Now, something that's actually a pretty minor point is the dog. The dog likes to move around, and he likes to get in your way. Now, we've actually had good RNG this run that the dog just kind of stayed on the left behind the fence, but oftentimes he can just kind of be in your way. Like, just walking from your path when you're trying to ship stuff or get to the mountain. Fortunately, that wasn't the case this time. This is a lot more farming than you're used to seeing in Harvest Moon speedruns. Yeah, that's, yeah, it's kind of ironic, isn't it, that this game, you actually farm in a Harvest Moon speedrun. It's like double irony. So now it's the 18th, it's sunny, it's a Sunday, and our house upgraded, all on the same day. So it's rather conveniently routed. So now we can go buy the blue feather and propose to Anne on the 24th. The sprinkler's the most plausible mass watering device you've seen in a Harvest Moon game? I mean, some Harvest Moon games have decent mass watering devices. Pretty decent ones. Like Magical Melody, you can upgrade your watering can to absurd proportions, although it requires a lot of ore and stuff, experience with the tool. In this, it just requires money and to be past the first summer. So, it's raining today, but today is the 19th, and we have to harvest our crops anyway, so it doesn't actually matter that it rains. And actually, I rather didn't, because it's kind of difficult to tell, sometimes, if you watered the crops or not. And as I've mentioned earlier, but the main reason we just do so much farming in this game is because it's the fastest way to get money, by far. Your options for getting money are very limited, and this is actually one of the few Harvest Moon games, at least of the ones that I'm aware of, it doesn't have an infinite money glitch. So, you have to get all your money legitimate. You can't duplicate items to our knowledge that aren't power berries. You can't just enter a cheat to gain money. Everything has to be earned legitimate, and that's pretty time-consuming, because money is really slow to do in this game. Because this game is pretty slow in general. The main reason why watering in the rain is a thing in this game and in Harvest Moon 64 is due to the way that the code behind the tiles itself works. It's because basically it just sets the state of the thing to watered it sets it to watered corn. However, when you harvest it, it doesn't make its distinction. It just sets it to harvested corn. It doesn't set it to harvested corn watered for some reason. It just has to do with tile states and the fact that technically the watering only occurs once at the very start of the day instantly. I don't know. It's weird. But I mean, it's possibly it's due to a limitation of just the game. Side effect of it being on the SNES. We've made it pretty far without having a hurricane. I'm not seeing enough bless RNGs in chat. Today's the 22nd, more harvesting of corn. Horse is trying to escape again. Thanks for the support, guys. So I guess what I'll do is, when we have downtime, is I'll talk about the requirements for the only major category left to be run, 999 Range Master Score. So at the end of the game, you're graded based on how well you do, or at least how well the game thinks you've done, on many, many, many categories. And this constitutes your Ranch Master score, the highest of which is getting 999. To do that, you would have to, it's really complicated, but basically you need to get every power berry, you need to have a full barn of chickens. I don't think that one counted. You would need to have 12 cows in your barn, and each of your cows would need to have maximum affection, and that's the biggest time sink, actually. Getting maximum affection on all 12 cows, because that is laggy and that is very slow. But it's also the most important factor, actually. You would need to get the turtle shell, so you need to win the Egg Festival both times. You'd need, you also need to cultivate your entire farm. And your farm counts as cultivated if there's crops, if there's grass, or if there's an unrotten fence piece on that square of the farm. So you would need to place one of those three objects on every single tillable square on the farm. And that's a lot of squares. So that's also a horrible requirement. You also need to sell, okay, today's the 24th. I'm gonna interrupt myself here. Today is when we're gonna get married. And fortunately, it was sunny. Okay, we have this. So, I'm gonna interrupt myself again, because that guy's like, I want to borrow your hammer. And that actually is the Golden Hammer upgrade event. If you say yes, there's a lengthy, just bit of waiting where he has to walk all the way to your tool shed, then walk back, he says some more words, then has to walk off screen, and it's pretty slow. So instead we just say, no, you can't have our hammer. Now we do lose a little bit of affection for that, or happiness. We do lose a little bit of happiness, but that's very easy to get, since another thing you need at the end of the game is happiness, and that's actually something I forgot to mention. We also need that for best ending. We need at least 900 happiness points. Happiness is a thing that it's just another value that Jack has, and it's increased or decreased based on various things you do. Buying animals will generally increase your happiness. For instance, getting married increases your happiness. If animals die, it lowers your happiness. Stuff like that. So saying no, you can't borrow our hammer, we lose a little bit of happiness, but it's not a big deal. It's not enough to impact it. It saves time. So now we're married. Yay. Okay. I heard, I didn't hear the sound and I got scared that today was a hurricane, but it's just rain. It's just rain. We actually need to go grab our sprinkler again. And grab our hammer. Oh, right, yeah. Because we entered the tool shed, our horse reverted back. Normally I wouldn't have to enter the tool shed there, but because I had to chop one extra log, I needed to get the watering, the sprinkler back. So So, you would need 999 happiness points in a, max, ranch mastery score run, which is actually one of the easiest requirements, since there's a quote-unquote bug that you can, more of an exploit, really, that you can do to get all of the happiness you need. And we'll be doing that in this run, because we are not going to be close to 900 happiness otherwise. So basically, a max range mastery score would be it would be pretty much close-ish to all days, since also you would need to be obviously married, have 2 kids, the like, for that max range mastery score. And actually, some of the weirdest requirements are actually bachelorette affection and amount of crops shipped. Since it tracks how many crops of each type you've shipped, and you need to ship a certain amount for it to... You need to ship between 496 and 512. It's technically at least 496, I think, and that'll get you maximum points for that category of that crop, so you need to ship like 500 of each crop. But the problem is, because of coding, it's stored in a value that if you ship over 512 of each crop, it overflows, and it thinks you've shipped none of that crop. So you would need to ship between that value. So you need to ship basically 500 and no more of each crop. And then the same thing is actually a thing for girls' affection points. So you would want between 496 and 512 affection points with each girl, including your wife. However, the catch is that since you need at least 650 to have the second kid, that means you actually need to lower the affection you have with your wife in order to get a 999 range mastery score. It's, kind of funny. Anyway, we are at the final day. If today is not a hurricane, the run is not killable. Okay, the run lives. We did it, guys. I think actually last year I had to load a backup, so the fact that I don't this year is pretty good. Also, we don't actually need to water our crops today, because we aren't going to be harvesting them anymore. The real question is, how much money do we have? Will we be losing money? So there's not much left to do in the run. It's basically just wait for our wife to have a kid and upgrade our house, and just sleep a bunch. We do need to buy a cow and a chicken. We'll do that at the very end of the run. Just because we don't want to have to deal with the cow and the chicken. Mainly the cow. The chicken is fine. The chicken can't die if we ignore the chicken. So anyway, let me check how much money we have. We have enough money. We actually have a full 1,000 extra, so we actually do not need to get any backup money in fall, and that's actually good. It's better than my PB. Still lost time, though, because Japanese. Okay. So now we're gonna wait for the 10th, and that's when we're gonna order our second house upgrade. And now we just sleep until the end of the run. We should definitely make estimate. I think this might be around a 2-hour flat. 201, maybe 202. So every time we sleep with our wife like this, we do gain 2 extra affection points, and that's all really important. No, I actually lost track of what day it is. Okay, it's the 7th, not the 6th. I'm really bad at keeping track of what day it is. So the 10th will be a Monday. The reason I ordered on the 10th is just because it's a Monday, so we got a lot of time to order it. And also because full moon berry. If I need a bit of extra cash, it's optimal to go out on a full moon berry day than on any other day. So I'm gonna go grab this. Birds, oh no. Gonna go order our house upgrade, and then I'll go pound the logs, probably for the last time. Or one of the last times. Since all the money is going to is 10,000, since for the second house upgrade costs 10,000 gold and 500 logs, we also need 10,000 gold at the end of the run. It's one of the requirements for best ending, at least 10,000 on hand. Yeah, I agree, the birds are the worst. The happiness bonus is inconsequential, and it just wastes in-game time, which is pretty valuable sometimes. Okay, that's all the stumps. And then it costs 5,000 per cow, 1,000 for a chicken, and we need another 1,500 in order to buy 3 more bags of grass. You start the game with 1 bag of grass. Oh wait, no. I always forget to do this. I have to go outside and actually purchase the upgrade. Oh wait, he's not gonna show up because it's the festival, right? In my PB, I actually forgot to go outside, and I went outside on the next day. But, he doesn't actually come out on the 11th, because it's the festival the next day, and that guy apparently takes priority. The more you know. Now we should be out here. Yeah. So we actually have exactly a full extra 1,000. Go figure. So now it doesn't actually matter how much, what day it is. The only date that matters is, New Year's Eve. So we're just gonna sleep a bunch. This is basically the finale, the crescendo, as you have it. You've gotten the RNG out of the way. This part is just sleep and hope that you, were fast enough to get a good PB. So now that you've upgraded your house even further, it's bigger, and your house is over there. So it takes longer to sleep, and that's annoying. So that's why we want to upgrade our house as late as possible. Just because it takes longer to sleep. suppose I can I've got plenty of time to spare if the chat has some questions they want to ask about Harvest Moon SNES or about things in general. I'll be willing to answer them. I've got plenty of time to spare. Since this is basically sleeping for almost an entire year, which takes a while. So sometime in winter, our wife will have a kid. And when that happens, we're going to ignore her and leave her. And she will be slightly sad, but that is okay. Because it's like a full minute or so of waiting. And if you choose to stay with her, and we don't need the boost to our wife's happiness. Yeah, it is kind of funny, just constantly going to sleep. So now it's the first of winter, we're just doing the same thing. Non-stop, incessant sleeping. What I can actually do is ask for names for my kid. Max of 4 characters. Now, in this game, your kid can actually be a boy or a girl. Text will say which, so I'll be looking for either name. And for the record, the gender of your child is not mentioned at all after this one instance. So, it is honestly completely inconsequential, but it's a nice flavor detail. We got one vote for naming the baby Baby, Toby or Rose. Any other names? Another vote for naming the baby Baby. Baby. Okay, it looks like Baby, regardless of, is winning. I should have known you guys would meme. P, so that it becomes canon in HM. I don't honestly have much of an opinion on the, whole, vanilla names of characters, Jack, Pete, Steve. I don't actually think any of them are called Steve. Personally, I'm a Jack main. We need Jack for Smash. So because of all the snow, we're getting a heck of a lot of wild dogs, but that's okay. We have to go outside in order to when our wife has a kid, so we'll just chop all of the stumps then. Should have had the kid by now. Okay, something's... Oh, yeah, no, I forgot. Yeah, it's 60 days for you to have the kid, and 30 days after that your wife gets pregnant again. So we won't have our kid until spring. My bad. I always mix that up. It's 60 days first, and then 30 days. I was like, did I do something wrong? But no, we won't have the kid until spring. So today should be the Starry Night Festival. Okay, that would be tomorrow, actually. And it is extremely important that we go to the spa, because if we don't go to the spa, not only will we not gain 30 affection points with Anne, which we need to have the second kid, but Anne will lose 50 affection points with us because we were cheating on her, or something. Now, we don't actually get to go to bed with our wife today, technically, because I don't know. We clearly saw her there. Also, now I need to actually keep track of the day. So today will be the 26th. Now it's the 27th. Are you supposed to go to a hot spring while you're pregnant? I mean, I imagine it's just like taking a shower. So, I imagine it's fine. I just want to make sure it's the... Okay, it is the 28th. It is extremely important that I do not overshoot the 30th. It is one of the most important things in the run, because otherwise we will not get enough happiness. So on New Year's Eve, villagers will have special messages talking about, oh, the year is coming to an end, etc. Oh, it was a good year, blah, blah, blah. And every time you get one of those messages, your happiness increases by 5 points. However, the thing is, you can just repeatedly talk to the same villager over and over and over and over again, and you'll gain 5 happiness points each time. And you don't even have to reload the room. You can just mash A and talk. And the fastest people to do this, one of the fastest people to do this is the mayor, who has a very generic message that just says, the year is coming to a close. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to be doing this 100 times. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70. This year is coming to a close. 68, 9, 80. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 90. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100, I think. I'll just do it another extra 10 times to be safe. Because we were memeing and not actually properly keeping count. Counting is the hardest thing in this game, honestly. If you can count from 1 to 100, you can do this game. Look at this super great deluxe log house! It's so good! They built it! I don't know why they're oogling over it. They built it. And so now we have New Year's Festival, which, same thing as last year. So this run should be finished in 10 minutes or so. We're gonna make estimate. Maybe 12 or so. It'll be like a 202 or a 203, I think. But I mean, after technically done, we do still we need to confirm that it is in fact best ending. So we're gonna be watching all the endings that we get. So it'll be more of a 208, really, when it's all said and done with, because the ending sequence is it's nice to watch. So now, around the 15th, we'll have a kid. Around the 15th. Give or take a day or two. So in previous routes, for some reason, I had the idea that bringing your dog in the house was a good idea. However, this both proved to be a bad idea, because it takes time to bring the dog in your house, and also, the dog just gets in your way. I also brought the chicken in the house, too. But it's a minor time save, but we're not going to do that either. I'll explain more when we buy our cow and a chicken, because we still have a little bit of gameplay left in the summer. Oh, our wife is having a kid. So, we talk to the wife. We say, really? And then the priest moves out of the way. And now I'm, do I see any? Okay. A few. I'll, like, hammer this one or whatever. There's a few rotten stumps, but not enough to make it worth, going to get. And now now we have a healthy baby girl named Baby. I blame the chat entirely for this one, because, frankly, they're the ones who named it. Thursday, 16th of spring. Our baby is born. So now we're just gonna sleep until the summer. On the 4th, we're gonna buy a cow and enough grass to plant it. On the 5th, we're gonna buy a chicken. And when our kid becomes a toddler, gets out of the crib and starts crawling on the floor, that is when that's actually the indication of when enough time has passed for a wife to get pregnant again. Now, one of the major time saves would be, if we could just cut a whole year off this, we would save like 20 minutes. And that would be a huge time save. Because, I mean, we just don't have to sleep. Since most of the first year is just sleeping anyway, since we can't do much until the second year. Unfortunately, there's just no good way of getting money early on until the second year because you don't have the sprinkler available to you. So if we could find a glitch that enabled that, then that would be essentially the holy grail of this game in terms of speedrunning. It would be the barrier skip, or the palace skip. At least for this category. Just have rain water all of your corn. Yeah, I mean, technically you could do that. If you were a TAS. Of course, you'd still have to manually harvest all your corn, and that also takes a big amount of time because you don't have the horse available to you, so you don't have a mobile shipping bin. And that also costs a significant amount of time. Just plain cactus. That is a good meme right there. So now it's summer. Very close to the end of the run. So, this is another minor time save over the previous route. The last major minor time save, if that makes any sense. Is that our grass planting is it's a bit faster. Since we've already done tilling. Yeah. We've already done the tilling when we planted our corn, and those spots are still going to be tilled, but the crops are going to be dead because the winter killed the crops, so we don't have to scythe them. Now we're gonna buy 3 grass, and we're gonna plant 4 grass, and hope that tomorrow doesn't hurricane. But if it does, we've got 1,000 extra, so it's fine. We actually do have extra money. This might actually be a gold split for me. Maybe. Big maybe. So you're gonna grab that. We're gonna grab this grass. Since in order to buy animals, you need 16 squares of grass planted, and that's really, really, really annoying. But the game says so. So we're just gonna plant this grass. And with 36 patches of grass, that allows us to buy our animals. Now, if it was raining today, we can't actually buy animals in the rain because reasons. They could like get sick or something. Oh yeah, I forgot to say what are we gonna name our cow? Quick, cow name. We have 1 vote to name the cow Cow, so we're gonna do that. You memers. Why do I even ask you guys for names? So now we have a cow. Now I'd ask you guys to name the chicken, but you can't actually name chickens in this game. You can only name cows. So, unfortunately, that's not an option. So today is also sunny, so we're gonna go buy a chicken. And this is the last action. We just need to sleep until our wife is pregnant again after this. It's first come, first serve. Sorry. I needed a cow name and I needed it fast. This is still technically a speed run, despite the fact that we're going really slow. So now we have a chicken. There it is. Bye. So, if you leave chickens outside on your farm, wild dogs could eat them if you have rotten fence pieces. However, if they are anywhere else, such as in town, in your house, in the chicken coop, it's fine. They're invincible. They cannot be killed. So we're just gonna kind of leave the chicken there because we technically own that chicken, so it doesn't matter where it is. We own it. And here's a hurricane. Fortunately, we already bought our animals, so we don't need to plant more grass. And because our cow is a baby, we don't actually need to feed the cow either. Only adult cows need to be fed. Baby cows do not need to be fed, cannot be starved. And chickens cannot starve at all. I promise that this is how it works in real life also. Trust me. I'm an agriculturist, clearly. So now we just sleep until our kid grows up, and it's just a handy cue. That'll tell us that our wife can be pregnant again, so we can end the run. And another hurricane. 2 hurricanes in the 3rd year and in the 1st year, but none in the 2nd, and that's all that matters. Now, we don't actually need our wife to give birth to the 2nd kid to get credit for it. We just need our wife to be pregnant for it, so we don't actually have a 2nd name. Sorry, guys. Our wife will just be pregnant. There isn't actually enough time in the game for the wife to give birth. Also, rip, I didn't gold this split. Shoutouts to Japanese text. So much faster. Okay, there it is, and... time. 2:02:47. Now, hopefully, we've got the best ending. We're gonna watch all the endings to make sure of it. If you don't like this ending music, then you are a horrible person. No, I really, really enjoy this music, though. This game's got some pretty good tunes, despite being an SNES game. So this is a cow farmer. This ending appears if we have the cow. How will we know if we have best ending? We'll know if we have the best ending if the best ending plays. The whole point of best ending is when you end the game, you get certain ending cutscenes based on what you've done. So, for instance, the last one was triggered by owning a cow, like 1 cow, like between 1 and 6. This one is triggered by owning at least 1 chicken. So if we've done all the requirements, we'll get the best ending cutscene, and that's how we'll know if we have best ending. This next one is Corn Farmer. This triggers if you ship over 200 corn. There's endings for shipping over 200 tomato... I almost said parrots? I'm getting mixed up. What? Tomato carrots, but carrots aren't in this game. It's tomato, turnip, and potato. This next one is the cutscene, the ending that you get if you marry Anne. There's one for each of the girls, but obviously you can only marry 1 girl, so you can't get all of them. This is still part of the end cutscene. It's weird. This one actually has a fade out because they leave the building. I mean, there is an ending if you befriend all of the girls but marry none of them. The ladies' man ending. This is the now this is the ending you get for if you have your first kid. Now this is the one that you get for having 2 kids, and then after this will be the happy family, which is the best ending, if everything is done right. If it cuts to credits, we did something wrong. Moment of truth. Okay, this is the best ending. We did it. This is officially a best ending run. And funnily enough, this is still better than my PB from last year, despite the fact that it's 7 minutes ahead of my current PB. So, that was Harvest Moon Best Ending. After the credits, you can see the scores. I guess we'll see the scores. Next up is iBums running Harvest Moon Game Boy Color 3, and I believe they're running Marriage Female. So, we'll just see the stats. It'll just be like another minute. And now we get to see, now the game judges us, basically, for how well or poorly the game thinks we did. So that's based on our money. I mean, number of cows and chickens you have can have up to 12 of each. That's our max stamina, how many power berries we've eaten. We start at 100, and it goes up by 10 per power berry. Now, we haven't shipped any tomatoes, turnip, or potato, but we have shipped that much corn. Now, it lists the cow with the most affection points. Desert, we do not get that much affection points. We'll have about 200. Or Ranch Master score. Anne has 666 affection. Monka. Now you'll notice that Eve and Maria each have 20 affection points with us. Because you actually get 10 affection points for going to the Starry Night Festival with, or rather to the New Year's Eve Festival. So we actually way overshot happiness. Plenty of happiness. Yeah, 219. Try harder. We don't actually get very much Ranch Happiness Mastery score. And the game is just like, try harder. You can do better. It's really because you don't have any cows. Cows are worth like 300 or 400 mastery points. It's insane how much cows are worth. And Ranch Mastery Development is worth another big boat. Yeah, Ranch Mastery is awful. But anyway, that is actually the end. So,